The world of Korean entertainment has always been full of surprises, but nothing prepared fans for what unfolded in recent weeks. When Lee Min-ho as Song Hye-kyo officially tied the knot, the internet practically broke. It was the kind of union people only whispered about in fan fiction circles or dreamed of in speculative headlines, yet it became reality in the most spectacular fashion. The wedding itself was hailed as one of the grandest events of the decade, a glittering ceremony that drew attention not just from Korea, but from audiences around the world. Photographs of the couple walking hand in hand, exchanging vows under a canopy of white blossoms, quickly flooded every social media platform. For fans, it felt like a dream that would never fade. And yet, just as the celebrations had barely ended, something else happened. Something nobody could have predicted. Less than 2 weeks after their wedding, Lee Min-ho and Song Hye-kyo stood together once again, this time not in wedding attire, but before the eyes of the public and media, ready to deliver a shocking announcement that sent ripples across the industry. The weight of their words and the timing of their revelation left fans gasping and scrambling for answers. Many had expected the newlyweds to disappear into a well-deserved honeymoon, away from cameras and noise, perhaps somewhere on a quiet European coast or a secluded island retreat. But instead of silence, they chose to speak. Their appearance was unannounced, their demeanor serious, yet strangely calm. Rumors spread like wildfire in the hours leading up to the revelation. Was it about an upcoming project together? Was it news of an early pregnancy? Or, in a darker twist, could it be a confession that their marriage was not what it seemed? The speculations grew louder, and when the moment arrived, the truth was both stunning and impossible to ignore. The announcement they made was one that shook the very foundation of how people viewed celebrity marriages. Both Lee Min-ho and Song Hye-kyo admitted that their wedding had been planned under extraordinary circumstances, circumstances they could no longer keep hidden from the world. While they did not offer every detail, their message carried undertones of urgency, sincerity, and unusual vulnerability for two stars so often shrouded in mystique. Their eyes as they faced the camera spoke volumes. There was love there. Undeniable love, but also something else, something weightier, as if they were fighting not only for their relationship, but also against forces much larger than themselves. Fans erupted instantly. Social media timelines turned into a battlefield of emotions. Some were ecstatic, believing the announcement could be tied to a beautiful surprise, perhaps the beginning of a family. Others grew anxious, fearing a revelation of problems that might spell doom for the fairy tale that had just begun. Every comment section became a frenzy of theories, with fans dissecting each gesture, each word, each pause in the couple's delivery of their message. The truth, as it slowly unraveled, was more complicated than anyone imagined. Lee Min-ho confessed that he had faced immense pressure in the weeks leading up to the wedding, not from his bride, but from the industry and expectations surrounding him. Song Hye-kyo, standing firmly by his side, revealed that they had struggled with whether or not to share their relationship publicly long before it became official. The decision to marry, though deeply rooted in love, had also been accelerated by a set of personal circumstances they hinted at, but chose not to fully disclose. What mattered, they emphasized, was that their union was real, heartfelt, and unbreakable. And then came the most shocking twist, one that left even the most seasoned reporters stunned into silence. The couple announced that despite the wedding being recent, they had already begun preparing for a massive transition in their lives. They were not simply entering marriage as celebrities. They were stepping away from the spotlight altogether for a period of time. Lee Min-ho and Song Hye-kyo declared that they would be taking a long hiatus from the entertainment world, retreating from their careers to focus on each other, on family, and on building a life together, away from the chaos of fame. It was not a retirement, they clarified, but it was a firm and undeniable pause, one that could last months or even years. The room froze. Reporters blinked in disbelief. Fans watching through live streams bombarded the chat sections with exclamations. For two of the most powerful figures in Korean drama and cinema, walking away, especially at the height of their careers, seemed unimaginable. And yet, there they stood, smiling faintly but resolutely, hand in hand, making it clear that this was the path they had chosen. Their announcement was more than just shocking, it was historic. In the hours that followed, reactions continued to pour in. Some fans applauded their courage, admiring the fact that they prioritized love and personal happiness over relentless schedules and public expectations. Others were heartbroken, realizing that it could be years before they would see their idols grace the screen again. Industry insiders speculated wildly about the financial implications: unfinished projects, canceled endorsements, halted negotiations. But beyond the business side, the emotional weight of their choice lingered. People could not stop talking about it. What drove them to such a bold decision? That question became the heartbeat of every conversation. Some argued that the scrutiny of their sudden wedding had been too much to bear, that perhaps the couple felt suffocated by the invasive attention. Others suggested that there was indeed a more intimate reason, perhaps health or the hope of starting a family sooner than later. The couple refused to provide more than hints, choosing instead to let their actions speak. What they made clear, however, was that they would face whatever came next together, not as individuals bound by contracts, but as partners bound by choice. As days turned into nights, the shock of their revelation began to evolve into a deeper kind of respect. Lee Min-ho and Song Hye-kyo, two stars who had built their lives on dazzling the public, had chosen instead to astonish the world with their humanity. They reminded everyone that beneath the glamour, the endorsements, the perfectly staged photo shoots, lay real people with real needs, desires, and vulnerabilities. Their story, still unfolding, became less about fame and more about authenticity. For fans, the wait ahead may be long and uncertain, but in that moment, as the couple disappeared from the cameras once more, one thing was certain. They had made history not just by marrying, but by daring to live on their own terms. The shocking announcement, though unexpected, carried a message that resonated far beyond Korea's entertainment borders. Love, when true, demands courage. And sometimes the bravest act is to step away from the spotlight hand in hand and begin again. In the weeks after the revelation, the couple's absence from public view only fueled the intrigue. Paparazzi lenses, once accustomed to capturing every step of their glamorous lives, suddenly had no trail to follow. Airports that once buzzed with speculation over their arrivals and departures stood quiet. Industry insiders whispered that the couple had retreated to a private residence outside Seoul, while others claimed they had flown abroad to start their new chapter in complete anonymity. Wherever they were, the silence was deafening, yet strangely powerful. It was as if Lee Min-ho and Song Hye-kyo were rewriting the rules of celebrity itself, teaching the world that sometimes mystery is stronger than constant visibility. And while the entertainment world speculates endlessly, one truth continues to resonate among fans. Their story, shocking as it may be, is far from over. Whether they return to the screen after a year or a decade, whether they choose to expand their family in private or re-emerge as the ultimate power couple of Korean entertainment, their decision has already changed the landscape. They proved that even in an industry built on spectacle, the most unforgettable headlines come not from scripts or staged moments, but from two people daring to choose love above all else. Their wedding was the fairy tale, but their announcement, that bold, history-making declaration less than 2 weeks later, became the legend.